Alright, so in 1.5 we talked about inequalities, and we're going to need to use a couple of different notations. So what we're going to establish here is what does set notation look like and what does interval notation look like. On this first screen, like right here, what I'd like to establish is how to read this. Like, what does it say? And so take me just a moment to kind of write this out, but it literally says this piece right here, the set of all x's. Okay, so literally just that first little piece right there is literally read as the set of all x's. Then we have this vertical bar right there, which is read as such that. And then we have what we have established here, and that is in this case here that we are an x that is between 0 and 4, including 0 but not including 4. So one more time, this says the set of all x's such that x is a number that's greater than or equal to 0, reading it to the left, and x is less than 4. So somewhere between 0 and 4. And you can see from your graphical display on the number line, you can see how the open dot and the closed dot, and we're back to that. Now we move to interval notation. Now in interval notation, we use parentheses to be able to establish the interval. And in that case there, we have to remember that we use a bracket when we're including, and we use a parentheses when we're not including, when it's an open, when we're not on 4. Alright, so those are our two notations, set notation and interval notation. So inside of my math lab, they'll be asking you for your answers in a certain notation, and you have to refer back to this video. So let's try a few problems. Okay, so on the first one, what I really recommend to use is that you draw a picture of what it says. And so in this case here, we sketch a quick little number line. And we've got two numbers on here. We got -4 and 4. And we'll just put a 0 on there. It's not drawing the scale, but it gives us the idea. Now, when we draw this, we know that at -2, we have a closed-in circle. Or if we wanted to do it a different way, we could use a bracket, because we're greater than or equal to -2. X is greater than or equal to -2. And x is less than or equal to 4. So same thing, it'd be a closed-in circle, which means a bracket. And so our final solution here, if we put it into interval notation, would be from -2 to +4. We go to the next one. Like I said, I really recommend the number line. I think it helps you visualize what you're writing here as far as your notation and the fact that you're between. So we have two numbers. We have 2 and 7. We have an open circle on 2. We have an open circle on 7. As we read this, we read it this way first. So that says x is greater than 2. So it's going this way. And then we have x is less than 7. So reading it that way, x is less than 7. That's going this way. So in this case here, we have open parentheses because we're less than or greater than. So we go from 2 to 7. And I apologize, I forgot to draw the line in between on this first one. Alright, going down to the third one, we draw a number line. We have essentially one number on this number line, and that one number is a 6. So I'm going to put a placeholder right there just to put a 0 to kind of hold its spot. And so then the question is, well, is it open circle or closed circle? Well, it's a greater than, so or equal to, so we'll close it in. And that means my arrow is going to be pointing this way. So that means my bracket is going to be like that. Now, when I write this, because I'm going to infinity, and infinity is not someplace I can touch, I say I start at 6, I go to infinity. At the 6, we know we include it, so we use the bracket. However, when you have infinity, because infinity is not a value that you can touch, infinity is a theoretical location to represent the largest possible number that we can never get to. So we don't actually touch it, so we use an open parentheses. Alright, last one, going the other way. And so that we need two numbers, 0 for a landmark and -3 to kind of give a visualization. As we read this, this says x is less than -3. So we got an open circle going less than -3. So that means we have an open parentheses going this way. So our solution would be, we're coming from negative infinity, remember, because negative infinity is out here. We're coming from negative infinity, and we're stopping at negative 3, and we don't include negative 3. So this would be my inequality that can be transferred into interval notation. Remember, when you're doing these, you can always, actually hit pause, write your answer, and then like watch and see if you did it correctly or not. So now we're going from interval notation to inequality or set builder notation. So we'll do set builder. So in this case here, we start off and we have this is our interval notation. Erase that. And we want to go to set builder. Okay, so you might want to draw a number line for this. You might want to say to yourself, okay, well, if I look at this on a number line, I have two values. I have negative 1 and positive 2. I have an open circle and I have a closed circle. And that might help you realize that your inequality for this set builder is I start my set builder off with the parentheses or the bracket. I do x such that, and then I do negative 1 is less than x is less than or equal to 2. So my inequality is something you should be familiar with. My inequality, since I'm between, by drawing the graph, I realize I'm between. I go to the second one. I need two numbers. I need negative 2 and 0. Including negative 2 because of the bracket. I'm including 0 because of the bracket, and I'm between those two. So my set notation is x's such that negative 2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 0. Alright, the next one, we draw a number line. We place a 0 if you want, kind of as a landmark. We place our 5. We start at 5 and we go towards infinity. So when we put that into set builder notation, we have all of our x's such that x is greater than 5. So that's what this is what the picture says. It says x greater than 5. Alright, last one. So we draw our number line. We have two numbers, 0 and 1. We have an open circle that's pointing towards negative infinity. So our set builder notation would be x's such that x is less than 1. And I'll take care of them. Well, like I said, if you have any questions, that's interval and set builder notation. Kind of review is that we're starting off here and making sure that whenever they tell us what notation they want us to put our answer in, we're comfortable with that notation.